You're watching the Chaos Protocol on Transplanar RPG, an all-transgender, people of color-led dark fantasy TTRPG show set in an original non-colonial, anti-Orientalist multiverse. If you like what you see, please consider pledging to our Patreon to support the show and get access to a patron-only after-show, early podcast episodes, GM notes, character sheets, and even the chance for your tabletop OC to cameo in our series. Thank you so much for watching, and enjoy. The Chaos Protocol is a dark fantasy series that may contain content that is triggering for some viewers. Content warnings for this episode include climate collapse, environmental disaster, apocalypse, fantasy violence, death of loved ones, storms, survival and scarcity, complex relationships, romance, heights, and references to nightmares, classism, animal extinction, and revolutionary violence. Arc 4, Episode 11, To Bite the Hand, from Waiting for the Moon to Burn by Connie Chang. Against the gray sheet that is now the world, the three survivors travel. The woman huffs across the ice, the worn leather harness straining against her elm bark cloth. Her breath escapes in plumes of frigid white. Beside her, the spouse does the same. The only noise that rises is the crunching of ivory cleats against snow and the whispering of their deerskin capes. From a distance, they look like heralds of the great rain trout coming up from the big lake to celebrate and warn of their god's approach. But there are no lanterns here, no burning braziers or salmon meat to share. There is only the wind, and the cold, and the dust. Upon the sled, the mother slowly opens her eyes. She was dreaming about what Suma Tai used to be, with its fertile fields of ice and diving snowbills and neon-banded Tarus singing their aurora songs deep into the dark. In the summer, the midnight suns burned for 100 days, bidding lichens to flower and mosses to bloom through jolly cracks in the permafrost. In the winter, the polar night wrapped the ice in a sweet and purple slumber. In the seasons between, the ancestral lights danced across the night sky. Now awake, the mother winces in pain. Her leg is still broken, the break is still tender. The sled worms are gone, long gone. The woman and her spouse huff and strain in their place, pulling the sled with all of their dwindling might. The mother swallows and feels the thirst inside her throat. The never-ending flakes fall against her face. They are not the bright and clean and nourishing snow. They are the dust, and it taints everything. It clogs the rails of the sled. It blinds the woman and her spouse. It dirties the snow and makes it dangerous to melt, to purify, to drink. They are almost out of blubber. Soon, the precious soapstone lamp inside the woven satchel will have nothing left to burn. The mother speaks. She tells the woman and her spouse that she is a burden, that they must leave her behind, that their chances of making it to a shuttle are better without her dragging them down. The woman refuses, as does the spouse. The mother asks again, and again her daughter refuses, and again so does her spouse. The mother can see the ending now so clearly in her mind. 3 wooden poles driven into the dusty snow. There would be no fear of crossing rivers before their bodies could be entombed, for there would be no rivers left to cross. The mother weeps from the pain in her leg and the pain in her heart. Her daughter speaks soothing words, but the spouse is quiet, alert, all of a sudden. There is a noise, like a lemming in the snow, a gentle squeaking, a fatal rustling. The radio. The spouse grabs it, turns the dial, and a voice leaps through the dust.
This is Broadcast Tower 19 in Northern Hofu, transmitting at 1942 hours. If you are hearing this, then you are in the path of a dust storm headed your way. It's moving north in a straight line at 241 kilometers an hour and increasing fast. I repeat, if you are hearing this, then you are in the path of a deadly storm headed directly your way. You can go west, you can go east, but whatever you do, do not go north and do not go south.
The message repeats. The mother stops weeping. The woman looks scared. Their argument is forgotten for now, but the care remains. The woman tightens her harness, as does her spouse, and together they turn the sled toward the east. Perhaps this message saves them in the long run. Perhaps it buys them the chance to find a doctor, a refuge, the shuttle. Perhaps it doesn't. But in that moment, they survive. The storm does not swallow them. The 3 graves go undug, and they live to see another day. Strike Team Nova. You wake from an uneasy slumber, your nightmares fading, half remembered and then not remembered at all. Lumièra, the echo of a dark seed, presses against your eyelids. Xainan, the sensation of isolation and dust, floods your mind. Seir, the golden eyes of a great huntress, and the feeling of her arrow piercing your heart. And then it fades, like everything does, in the face of this ceaseless dust. It's quiet, and the quiet feels empty. It is a strange cavity where there should be activity, and you realize the storm has stopped. It was ever present through the night, an endless howling that your minds adjusted to, as mortal minds are wont to do, but now the screaming gales are gone, leaving silence in their wake. Above your heads, a low and slanted roof. Wooden rafters dense with ancient cobwebs. Your eyes travel down, you see old crates, rotted shelves. A thick haze of ever-present dust hangs in the air, muffling every movement and each sensation as though you were at the bottom of an ocean. The floorboards beneath your bodies are old, stained, covered in a fine layer of gray dust. As the smog of nightmare lifts from your eyes, how does each of you clamber awake and take stock of your surroundings? Let's start with Xainan.
Xainan, in his weariness, his hands still found the shawl that he wears, still caked in dust from shielding Nova with it, and he had pulled it partly over himself, almost like a blanket, tucked his hat safely beneath his arms. And when unconsciousness found him, he was not in an ideal position for someone who doesn't have the best back anymore. So when he wakes with a groan, a shake and a shift before a deep groan. And he pulls the shawl off, shakes it a good 10, 15 times. The dust is not falling off enough, but it's as good as it's going to get right now. And he reaches for his hat, dusts that off too. Disgusting. And remembers who he is. The hope that still sticks to him from finding this place. And he takes stock of 1, 2, 3, the rest of Nova. We're all here. And that's enough for now.
Your eyes fall on Lumièra.
Lumièra wakes up extremely groggy and stiff, like she was hit by 3 buses back to back in all different directions. She's dreary and trying to make sense of where she's at. The last thing she remembers seeing was dust. So much dust. And she gets up feeling something extremely solid behind her, and doesn't realize until she glances over and she's still curled into Seir. So she kind of tries her best to move herself out of his embrace, and she feels this tickle in the back of her throat. So she tries to swallow, and her throat's so dry. She can't really get anything to lubricate it. So she clears her throat, and it only makes it worse. So she clears her throat again and again before it turns into coughing. A coughing fit as she's trying to expel whatever it is that's in her throat and her chest up, but she can't seem to get it clear.
Seir, you are roused by this noise, this shuffling of body against yours as your eyes flutter open.
As Seir's eyes begin to flutter open, there's the instinctual, whatever he was holding on to, whoever he was holding on to, he held on for dear life. And there's that instinct where that palm, the bottom of his palm, tightens a little bit around said person, around you, Lumièra, as you slowly inch yourself away, but then relaxes when he realizes you are breathing and you are moving. But then you start coughing, and Seir starts to stir. Lumièra? He says, and his voice sounds wheezy. There's a slight soreness, scratchiness, and a wheeze as he wakes up, and then we hear cybernetics begin to slowly hum back to life. White light begins to slowly light up his antlers, blinking slowly as if processing, and the cybernetic tail curled around his leg also flares to life, but it's dim. And we see that Seir looks to get up from his shoulder, resting on it, but it stays really still. He sits there for a few heartbeats. Seir doesn't move as quickly as everyone else at this moment. He just sits there for a second, gathering a little bit more courage, a little bit more grit, so that he can push past some more of the pain. Before his eyes finally open, and he takes in the environment, sees Lumièra. There's a hand hovering just right by her as he hears the coughs begin to increase in frequency, go deeper within your chest, and he looks at you with concern. Also does his own count of Nova before very tentatively, shakily leaning on one foot so that he could get up very slowly.
Nova, as all of you start to stir, in particular Lumièra, as you start to cough more, you feel a weight against your legs, and you realize that Ying He had fallen asleep in your lap, their hair unspooled across your knees and shins. They're the last to rise of the four of you, silver eyes slowly blinking open. They blearily reach for their weimao, their hat with the veil that's been put somewhere off to the side, discarded in the haphazard rush toward barricading this area and then falling asleep. And in a echo of Xainan's movements, they pick it up and they shake off some of the dust that had accumulated overnight from the brim. And they right themselves as well, coughing a little. And as all of you come to your senses, you can see the smallest glimmers of objects, things tucked away in the corners of some of these crates, some shapes, very small shapes at the backs of the shadows of some shelves, but other than that, it looks completely barren and empty. And then Lumièra, on the other side of your lap, you feel a round, spherical object hum to life inside your pocket. The Oracle, as this droid crackles to life, and you hear a "Good morning, Nova."
There you are.
With a
Hail.
with a very, very tight Xainan gets up. He doesn't limp so much as he just kind of steps very gingerly towards everyone else. Morning. And in his hand, as he reaches down to Lumièra, he holds the last of the water from the crash. You should drink this.
Thank you. And when she replies, her voice sounds gravelly, rough, like sandpaper.
Every
she-
cough. Every cough, every rasp in every single person's voice in this room is like a dagger being driven deeper and deeper into Xainan Esch. And he just closes his eyes, takes a nice slow breath, and there's a little bit of rasp to it. We're gonna have to get better at this. That's all he can think right now.
As you, Lumièra, take sips of the last of the water that we have from the canteen that Xainan gives you, Seir rights himself up to almost a crouch. And as he does, kind of like looks to you as he's sipping, he says, "How long were you in there for?"
Lumièra finishes. She's taking the smallest possible sips to try to conserve just enough to wet her dry throat before she passes it to Ying He, the canteen that is, because she heard him cough too.
Ying He
Here.
takes the canteen wordlessly, lifts it to their mouth, and also takes just the tiniest sips. But you can see them relax into the sensation of water filling their mouth, water going down their throat. And it looks like they want to drink all of it, but then they lower it. And when they open their eyes, there's almost a kind of animal hunger, desperation, a memory of scarcity from a different plane of existence. And then they hand the canteen over to Seir, but they do not meet Seir's eyes.
Seir clocks that, having looked directly at them, to look into their eyes, to see how they are, to see how they hold themselves with their broken arm as we stumbled into here ungracefully, concern glimmering onto the surface of his eyes, worried that he might have made it worse. Sees that pulling away and winces on the inside as he takes the canteen. It takes 1, 2, 3 sips. Enough to wet his lips, and he kind of like lets the water, the liquid, sit just above where he feels his voice box is. Just to feel some sort of cooling relief there. Just let it sit there for a moment before that relief is gone and goes to proliferate with the rest of his body. Before closing the canteen and looking over to Xainan, he says, "Oh man, here you go."
Xainan takes it, does not drink from it, and puts it back in that same safe fold inside of his clothes. And his eyes begin to scan. You're now all accounted for. All of Nova is accounted for. And now he's looking past the cobwebs to what is behind them, what is behind the dust, all of the things that were in the way when we arrived last night. Now we have shelter. We have a little bit of water. But what else is in here? And you can see he is beginning to move on again. The same way he's moved on every single time Nova feels settled. He starts thinking next.
Lumièra peeps that look between Seir and Ying He. And her eyebrow quirks, but her eyes are watching back and forth like a tennis match. I don't know. An hour, 15 minutes?
Is that how far back you went?
No. Way farther.
Wait. Your chronology, is that what? How far back?
Forward. And Lumièra stops again, a cough breaking up her sentence, and she looks around.
It's okay, steady.
And she gestures her hand around. Before all of this.
And that same blossom of hope, verdant and beautiful, blooms all over again deep inside of Xainan Esch as he stops looking. Because there is something impossibly more important in this room than food, than water. And he looks at Lumièra. You saw it.
It's kind of fuzzy, like, you know, like when you have a dream and then you wake up, but you can remember bits and pieces of it, but not all of it. Just kind of like that.
But you were gone from here, And you were there. It wasn't just a dream, it was real. You went back, 15 years?
Please.
That's what the... And she stops herself. Yeah. Maybe.
Seir squints. The second you hesitate, the second your breath hitches, Seir squints. And you feel him scanning you from toe to head to toe, looking for the cost. Because I remember the cost. When you made the impossible possible. When you brought Seir back to life, he remembers that sensation of the rebar, the cost of drawing from his own pool as Omen Speaker. But that was moments. You're talking years. Over a decade? And Seir's just looking for any sense of the cost on your body, on your frame, anything that can inform him, as where in Xainan's mind blossoms hope, what blossoms in Seir's mind is fear. You went somewhere he can't follow. What the hell is he supposed to do the next time you do this?
Seir, you see no immediate signs of decay or change or aging on Lumièra. She doesn't look older, she doesn't look younger, no parts of her have withered. But something's off. There's a piece of this you're missing, maybe multiple pieces. This can't have happened without a cost. You, of all people, know this. Know that there are consequences to power wielded in any direction. Whatever direction this consequence went was not inward at Lumièra. But it definitely went somewhere.
You see Seir's eyes, his pupils are saucers as the realization sinks in. Without enough information, all he can do is creep a little closer. Lest you disappear again, lest you vault somewhere he cannot go.
Xainan's eyes. Xainan is locked on. Yes, there is beauty in the bloom, but he's not looking across Lumièra for cost. How?
I don't. And Lumièra closes her eyes, pinching the bridge of her nose between her index finger and her thumb, and she sits there before she startles awake again. Just that quickly, she forgot she does not like to close her eyes. That seed sits burned behind her eyelids, like when you stare at the sun too long. I don't know. It's... I'm still learning.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. It's okay.
It just wasn't here.
I don't think we have to interrogate that right now. We all just woke up. We're all just a little groggy. Maybe let's just get our bearings and see what this place is.
Agreed.
Yeah. And Lumièra's eyes dart all... It's almost like she's finally settling into herself and her surroundings. And you see her eyes darting. everywhere, as if she's finally just now realizing that they are someplace else. And she starts taking inventory of Nova, scanning over them from head to toe.
Lumièra, as you take inventory of your strike team, you notice Ying He, who has pulled themselves to their full height now, stride past Xainan, also not looking at him. Not shoulder check him, but just right past him, almost like he doesn't exist. And they just start looking through shelves, opening up old crates, rifling through the shadows.
Lumièra follows, gingerly getting herself up. She's very slow moving, very stiff. Hey, you... And she just gestures with her head over to the side.
Yes, Lumièra? And Ying He pauses in their investigations to take a sidebar with you.
Lumièra kind of makes it look like she's looking around. She doesn't want all of her focus to be on Ying He, not trying to make them feel targeted or like she's trying to corner them. Did I miss something? All of y'all look banged up.
Yeah, there was a fight. There was an animal. Where we were staying in the cove, it was actually its den. It came in and we fought it, and Xainan... They pause. The words hitch in their mouth. They push through. Xainan killed it. I think we could have ran. We should have ran. But it's dead, and it turned to dust, and we got banged up pretty good in the fight. It wasn't trying to hurt us. I think it was just scared and trying to protect itself.
So... Okay,
It was bad, Lumièra. I don't know how to explain it. I've never... And they lean in closely so only you can hear this. I've never really seen Xainan look like that before, and I didn't like it. I'm not scared of him or anything like that. I just... I don't know.
Sorry I wasn't there.
It's not your fault, Lumièra. You got whisked away by some kind of... I don't even know. You're not gonna go flying away like that again, are you?
I'm sorry, is all she says, and turns back in the direction of Nova.
Xainan did not move his eyes when Ying He passed. He did not move his eyes when Lumièra followed them. He stood in that moment, crooked, tired, and more than a little broken. But he's rolling around every word Lumièra just said until finally he hears them talking. They're not talking about this, and he reminds himself that there are things they need. And he looks past where they were all huddled. and starts to look at what's in the room. The things that we pushed
Okay.
aside.
Yeah, so Xainan, make me a survival check to
Right.
investigate this attic space.
I do have my scavenger ability.
Okay. Yeah, that lets you harvest twice as many resources as normal,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yes.
I would say you don't have situational advantage. You're not getting assistance unless Seir is also spending time, dedicated time to help you right now.
Not in this instance, no. He still needs
Okay.
to get up.
Okay. Yep, that makes sense. And you're not harnessing a relevant tool or power in this moment, I assume.
No, he's just looking.
Yep, that's just 1d20.
I just miss it.
So you fail?
You know what, though? That makes sense. That makes sense, though. Yeah. I fully fail, even though I have pretty good survival.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's stuck. We've seen him loop on memory. This isn't memory. This is him playing back every conversation he has ever had with Lumièra about chronology, about time travel, everything he knows about why the Syndicate did not allow it, which is very little. But he remembers the look on Kenzo's face when he thought it was chronology. He's stuck there.
Xainan, you are stuck and distracted. There's a lot of dust in here. It's very dark. There's very little light coming through the one window that you all boarded up. So you're stumbling around trying to reach your fingers into crevices, but there are likely nooks and crannies that you just glaze over and don't notice. So you yield nothing, and you're fine. As far as you are aware, this is an empty, barren attic. What about you, Seir?
After waiting for that moment to dissipate, Seir is just kind of like sitting in between three different decisions that he has made in the past day or so, and they replay the cavern with Xainan, they replay the dust storm, they replay this moment here. And Seir pushes it down, gets up from, as he's pushing all of that down, he pushes himself up as his tail shudders around his leg. And he just, that's when internally they say to themselves, what got us out was us together. Nova, together, united. That's what got us out. That's what helped us survive. This is not the time for me to be in my own feelings. This is not the time for us to dwell on things I cannot do nor change. Now, what do we need now? Xainan seems to be standing in place and staring out to the middle distance. I will make myself useful. And Seir kind of like limps over and sees that there's a bundle of stuff scattered about this place. And he says, I'll go and shift that for you, Xainan, then you can take a look at it with a finer eye. Let me just shift some things. Yeah, no, don't worry about it. Right,
He
okay.
doesn't worry about it.
Okay, Seir. You are actually using muscle in this moment to move things around, to uncover hidden spots. So I'm going to say that's a grit roll, actually. You don't have
Happy-
situational advantage.
I
No
definitely
assistance.
don't. Nope.
And I'm assuming you're not using a tool or power in this moment. So 1d20.
Yeah. 1d20. See how this goes. This is a Slayer die. Oh, that's a success. It's a 3. Let's go.
One success. Okay, yeah, that is sufficient. With Seir's help, moving the larger old crates around, Nova, you're able to find canned rations. In one corner, it had kind of rolled out of a hole in an old crate next to some shadows, and you see a small thing of canned mackerel. And next to it, you also see an even tinier tin of clams. And finally, a little glass jar of pickled radish. There are other rations next to it that have been wrapped, but they've been chewed through long ago by some sort of animal, and there's nothing left.
Hey, Zai, take a look. Found something.
Oh, look at that. Oh, good find.
Yeah.
I was starting to worry this place was completely ransacked.
No, there's probably still stuff hidden around some of the cloth or broken pieces of timber. I'll keep scuffling about. And he looks at that leg. Keep that weight off, yeah? I'll move these.
It's fine. And he says it's fine. It looks like it has been plastered over with mud. But that mud is not made of water. It is blood and dust caked onto his leg. Almost camouflaging how much blood it took to get there. But he reaches out with a hand and just kind of grabs Seir by the shoulder. It's alright.
You found something? And
Some food.
Oh. Great. What? Okay. What in fate's name? Why does your leg look like that? And your tail is in 3 different places at angles.
It hurts less if I do this.
Seir,
It doesn't look better, though.
you're one to talk.
That's rich coming from you, old man.
Okay, can we find something that can help? And she gestures to y'all, including Ying He. Y'all.
Ying He says, "I'm fine," as their arm hangs at a bad angle.
You're not.
Mira.
I'm probably the best in, my shape is fine compared to the rest of them. Xainan lost a lot of blood. You should focus on Xainan.
I'm
I was
fine.
hoping
I'm walking
that wasn't
around.
blood.
For now.
Lumièra will start looking for more provisions, more specifically in medical rations, gauze.
Yes. So, Seir, your roll yielded you 1 provision, and sadly we don't get to use Xainan's feature because it was not Xainan who made the roll. So your provisions,
Whoops.
Nova, go up from 2 to 3. I'm gonna make a note of that.
Yippee!
Lumièra, you can also search around if you would like. That is a survival check.
Okay.
Just 1d20.
Yeah,
I think makes sense here.
I see that. Indeed, correct. Just 1d20. Ooh, just under. Great. That's us 1 success. A 9.
Okay. So you, by shuffling around and all 4 of you together completely ransack this attic. Like, you search it from head to toe, left to right. There's no part of this that's uncovered after this. And together you pull any additional finds in the center of the room. You find a single box of matchsticks. Inside the box, there are 6 matchsticks left. And that's it. I'll say that's another 1 for provisions. So that goes up from 3 to 4.
Well,
Staring at your single find laid out in Lumièra's palm, all of you kind of clustered in a circle, Ying He says, maybe we'll have better luck finding things outside. I know it's just a big empty crater out there, but... Oh, I remember there were shipping containers. Maybe we could go to one of those.
Say your balance seems a little off. Why don't we stumble out into the dust? You can stay here with Lumièra and get your tail checked out.
Seir looks at that idea, knowing the dynamics at play. Watching the both of y'all, there's a hilarious moment here where the exact same facial expression that Lumièra had, bouncing her pupils between different people in the dynamic. Seir does the exact same expression, watching Ying He and Xainan as Xainan makes his proposal, and he goes, you all right with that, Ying He?
Sure. Yeah, let's do that.
And Seir's chest buckles a bit more, and he goes, okay, just both of y'all easy on your legs, Xainan, and go easy on your arm, Neela.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We'll be back.
Okay.
And there is a willfulness in Xainan's ignorance of that tension in particular. It isn't just because he's not willing to see Ying He's frustration. It's more that he's not ready to sit in a room and have Lumièra to ask more questions of yet. And there is clear desire to sit and talk to her endlessly. He keeps looking at her. But he knows when to stop asking questions. And once he starts asking her questions, he might never stop. And we do need supplies.
Okay. So, Xainan, in your searching of the attic, in addition to the boarded up window, you have found another point of egress. There is a kind of square-shaped door in the floor, essentially, and a folding ladder on this side of the attic. So you could try to pry open the boards and go out the window, or you can try to open up the ladder.
I think he's inclined to go down the ladder.
Okay.
The outside seems a little dusty.
Yeah, absolutely. For lack of a better word, sure. You and Ying He together are able to kind of bang on this rather stuck ladder and get it to like detach itself from the floor, and it kind of coughs open, and in one fluid motion the ladder slides open and hits the bottom of the ground floor, and a big plume of dust rises up, mushrooms into the attic from this movement. And then Ying He says rather rigidly, I'll go first because your leg is injured. And they step down, and using their non-injured arms slowly lower themselves down the ladder one by one by one, and they land. And Xainan, you're able to follow them close behind.
Not as fast as he should, but yes.
Yes, it is painful, even when you try to not put pressure on your injured leg. You're still scaling a ladder down. So as you do, you leave Lumièra and Seir behind briefly in the attic as the two of you search the ground floor.
What a fucking mess.
I leave for 15 minutes, tops. And quite literally everything goes to shit. Let me see your tail.
I know. Mm.
Don't give me that. Let me see it.
Okay. And you see Seir's cybernetic tail that's blinking like red every time he twitches and moves it, slowly uncoil around his leg and like stutters as he like reaches it over to you.
Seir. And
Ew.
Lumièra drops to one knee gingerly, as lightly as she can, is like feeling along it, trying to pinpoint where the problems are. Seir, this is compound. There's multiple fractures in this.
Yup, I can feel them. And he like stands so still. He's trying to be such a good patient right now. He's like holding on to the wall with one arm and like steadying himself, trying to be such a good patient right now. And they like look over to you. It was bad, Lumièra.
That's what Ying He said. Listen, I don't need to know all the gory details, okay? We have bigger things at hand right now than Xainan and his pent-up whatever and that weird energy between you and Ying He. Okay.
I don't blame them for that.
It was that bad, huh?
And Seir kind of like turns around, like so that his tail is curled as you're holding it in your hand. He looks at you. Lumièra, I don't know who that man was in there. No, like seriously.
Lumièra kind of drops your tail, not dropping it completely, but like
every protocol, every training, just like that.
Listen, I wasn't there, so I can only take your word for it. I'm not going to excuse whatever it is that Xainan did, but maybe he's just going through something and this is all coming back. This is weird for everyone.
No, I agree. I think you're right. I think there is something going on with Xai. And I think it's affecting him, and I think being back in Kiseki is impacting him on a deeper level than he is letting on. I agree with you.
And Lumièra takes her shawl off during this. Go ahead.
And as you're like kind of like beginning the like diagnosis and like wrapping up of Seir's like tale, he kind of like his eyes kind of like fluttered to the provisions we had found, and Seir just kind of goes, "He just shot first. There was no..."
It didn't attack you first?
No. It relied on hearing to move around, and I think it heard us and meandered over. And Seir and Xainan just right in the face. And he started and he ended it, simply put. And the way that you've not really seen Seir like this, I think. You've known him many years. You both have been trained by Artemis, for fuck's sake. Like fear of violence is not in your vocabulary, both of you, right? It's not fear of the violence that Seir's necessarily sitting with. It is disbelief. And I think there's like a feeling you get from Seir where it feels like everything is spilling out of his control. Like you could see it. You could see the way he like holds his hands. You see the way that his tail twitches, the way his antlers are blinking yellow each time as he's recounting this. And you know what? I'm not even going to say it. Because I'm afraid if I say it, it's gonna fucking come true. So I'm just not going to say it.
So we don't.
So we don't.
Xainan, on the ground floor of the shack, you and Ying He land in waist-deep dust, tilted at an angle, almost as though this building were perched on some sort of slope or something like that. And you see what looks to be a supply shed once upon a time. There are bare shelves, cabinet doors just hanging wide open, completely empty. You see drawers pulled out of their sockets, some of them just on the floor next to you. And looks a lot more ransacked here than the attic was. Presumably, the fact that the attic was difficult to access shielded it from desperate survivors. And Ying He kind of wades through very quickly, headed toward the front door that is sealed shut with a big tide of dust slammed up against it. They do not seem very interested in talking to you. Do you try to talk to them regardless?
I think after a moment of what is almost unbearable silence, for Xainan, he can bear it. He can be ignored. He can just do his job. But he can feel this silence. It has a shape. It sounds like Ta yelling in the cave. It sounds like the cries of the cave skipper. And he can't make it stop. And so, yes, he does finally, as he is wading through, just start talking. How do you move so fast through this? Ugh, fuck.
Well, I don't have a hole in my leg, for one.
Sure, but you're gonna need me when you get up there.
I hope I will. The you that I know, anyway.
What's that supposed to mean?
Ying He shrugs without further comment, and they start fiddling at the doorknob of the front door, trying to open it against the dust. Seems to be stuck on something.
Xainan stops slogging. He's in enough pain that the words just kind of cut him down to the quick for a moment. I'm sorry I didn't hear you in time, if that's what you're upset about.
I'm not upset about you not hearing me one time. And they're saying this as they continue to struggle against the door, and quite violently, actually, even though their words are coming out more or less evenly. I'm upset because it's like I said back in the cove, it didn't have to go that way. And I feel really bad for it. And it doesn't seem like you do.
You know, before all of this, and a ping of everything Lumièra said 5 minutes ago rushes back in his head and makes him stop, wondering what she saw. But he does keep talking over the rushing sound of the past 15 years ago and before the dust. The creatures of this world, they hunted my flock. I've seen things like that before. I know it might not feel that way, but I just thought I was protecting you all.
But it wasn't hunting us. And you have such sharp eyes, Xainan. I refuse to believe that you didn't see that. I know you were just trying to protect us. I want to believe that's why you did what you did. And maybe it was, maybe... But that doesn't... Can we just do whatever we want just because we're scared? I saw a lot of people back on Zhiguang do whatever they wanted just because they were scared. And they did a lot of really bad things.
You know, I don't think you're a monster. Even if they did.
And Ying He finally turns around to look at you, those silver eyes almost glowing in the dark. Oh, but Xainan, I am. And with one final shove, the door gives, and bright light floods in, blowing your pupils small. Both of you have to kind of cover your eyes reflexively for a second. And when your vision adjusts, you see that this shack is perched on the side of a towering mountain. Outside, the ground is parched and dry with dangerous uneven footing that seems like it would crumble at the slightest disturbance. You see trees, long dead, hollow corpses of trees rising up from this rocky, uneven, mountainous terrain, and a stone's throw away, beyond the aperture of this open door, you see the enormous dark legs of a radio tower. It looms proudly like a wrought iron obelisk, rivaling even the tallest of Inferno's skyscrapers. A central pillar of carefully stacked stone punches up into the sky, stretching toward the fading light of the twin suns. Every 70 feet or so, a circular landing snakes around the pillar with rich walls of dark timber and support struts carved from iron. There are 3 landings total, 3 covered rooms, with the third at the very top of the radio tower. A single antenna extends from its roof, protruding for another 50, 70, 100 feet into the air easy. And this antenna is topped by a blinking, familiar red light that you can see even from here at the threshold of this shack, through the shaking branches of desiccated trees and the thick, ever-present cloud of dust. Ying He stares in open awe. And then they raise their voice so Lumièra and Seir can hear, and they say, you better come out and look at this. I don't think we're by the cove anymore.
Xainan is in a dream. He is in a test from the city
Very
of heaven.
fun for me, Valiant Dorian.
He is
I
far
think
away.
in this.
1 second. Val, I think, can you hear Kai?
Can you hear Kai?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
Kai, can you speak, like, say, yeah, Kai.
Hi,
Kai
hello,
was-
I'm speaking.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah, there, okay.
That's so funny.
That was
That was really strange.
You're like Vanny. I heard
Huh,
nothing
what's
from you. And I was
strange?
like,
I was like,
Huh? Oh my god, I was like,
Right.
okay, Val, just being like, it's my
So
turn.
funny. So funny.
I'm so sorry. That's okay. Let's go to Xainan first, and then we can bounce to Seir.
Yeah. Xainan is far away. He is in a dream. He is in his trial in the city of heaven for the river gourd. He is surrounded by desiccated trees, walking at a steady pace. No. They're supposed to be in Hane Bay, and this is nothing like that. But he is also at home in the Lodestar, willing a radio tower to blink, to respond. So he is in all of these places and standing here with the monster of Zhiguang in the door as his eyes adjust again, trying to find reality as he is in this crooked room in a place that doesn't seem right. He limps forward, just trying to make sense of any of it, and the blood loss is starting to make his head swim.
That's when Lumièra and Seir, the two of you, hear Ying He's voice cutting up from the ground floor.
okay. I'm gonna have to do this really quick. And you're not going to be happy about it.
Do what you need to do.
Here,
Hey,
and she
Grimson.
gives you her shawl, but is like stuffing it in your mouth. Bite on this.
Okay.
On 3, okay? 1, and she sets it.
So what this means, Seir, is you no longer have to keep your tail wrapped around you all the time. It's been
Yippee!
more or less splinted-ish. You still have 2 hit points marked unless Lumièra would like to use her first aid ability, spend provisions to remove one of those marks.
So here's the thing. Everybody is fucked right now, and using my first aid would require me to use 75% of our provisions. So it's just a bare thanks, Sue. Based on that, I am just going to set it. I'm gonna find a wood plank or a very stiff stick to do like a makeshift splint. And it's not gonna be fun, but Seir, you now have like a little like wooden stick that your tail is tied to for the time being.
Absolutely. Like, don't use any versions. Seir's happy with this. And I think he like removes, like with shuttered hands, the shawl from his mouth, like dusts it off and tries to like dry it off with his own shirt from biting into it, and then like folds it and hands it back to you. And he says, "That was not on 3, but thank you."
I found it better that if you catch people off guard, they're not as tense.
No, you're right.
And she does not really care much about the fact that there's a good section of this shawl that is still damp.
Torn.
Just
damp torn.
Yeah. Just kind of puts it right, just shovels it right back over the top of her. Come on.
Lumièra.
And she reaches her hand out.
He takes your hand. And his thumb kind of like gently taps over your knuckles. Were they with you too? The other set of fangs?
Lumièra's eyes go so wide. Because she wasn't aware that you could feel them too. We should probably go see what Ying He and Xainan are yelling about. Come on.
And Seir follows, because in your no answer, he got his answer.
Strike Team Nova, you reunite outside of the shack, and now all 4 of you are able to take in this brand new scenery. You are certainly not in Hane Bay anymore. This is a mountain. There's not even the memory of a ghost of an ocean anywhere near here. And that radio tower, so close through these dead trees, you could make it in a 5-minute walk at most, even against these steep slopes. And that is exactly what Ying He proposes when you reunite. They point toward the tower and they say, "There, that was the shadow, that was the light I was sensing. There's gotta be something there."
Do you think there's provisions, or?
I mean, that light is still blinking. That's a really good sign. Maybe there are people in there.
There could be, if nothing else, links to anyone else that's in the area.
I could fix
Those
my
things
radio.
are all over the world. Yeah. We should.
Okay, let's go.
And Xainan is about to say we should hike the hill. He regrets that those words have to come out of his mouth. And he just sets his teeth. Oh, we should go.
Oh, hey, no man. If I remember correctly, your leg is still out of commission. Come on. And he gestures onto his back.
I got here, didn't I?
What is that like? Like how many feet is it between like the upper bit and the lower level that they were in?
It's like 30 feet of elevation.
Xainan, be serious. Sit down. And Lumièra walks over and like points down to the ground in front of you very expectantly.
He looks away from Seir, as he will not be piggybacking on Seir's back in maybe this lifetime. He
Hey,
does, however,
Connie will kill you just to make that happen.
But he has always had a hard time saying no to Lumièra, and he can only avoid talking to her directly for so long. So he very, very slowly sits where he is told to sit. It hurts, and you can see that his body reacts before he even allows any wincing. He avoids putting any pressure on that leg, as it is shredded in the thigh.
Stop being weird, like I haven't done this 1,000,006 times. And Lumièra will start gingerly looking at your leg. This blood loss, the deep, deep gashes. She doesn't have her kit on her. She can't stitch it back up. So the next best thing...
And Ying He leans in next to you as though also assessing Xainan's leg at the same time and suggests, crutches?
That's a lot nicer than I was thinking. I was thinking cauterize it, but yeah, crutches.
You can cauterize
maybe
it.
Xainan should pick.
It'll stop the bleeding.
Do you know how bad that's gonna hurt with you awake?
I do.
All right. And Lumièra will pull out the matchbox. Seir, do you still have...
I got patience with me. That's a lovely little metallic thing you could use to cauterize this wound.
Thank you so much. Lumièra will reach out for it.
You didn't even like have your hand out. The leather hilt is already in your hand.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And she will gather, brush, dry whatever that is on the ground all together, strike the match and light it so the flame is a bit bigger.
It goes up instantly. This place is so arid and dry that flame catches fast, and you see instantly that it could spread very quickly unless you contain it. Flash back to the rich Krezerin of the Wild Sea, the only other place where fire ignited so quickly.
I think as the flames get bigger in front of her eyes, it's just a flick of the wrist. And it's trapped within the liminal. Just that quickly. So second nature. It's like breathing, almost as if she was dusting, like fanning away like a bug that was trying to get in her face. Just that simple. And you see her kind of flinch a little bit as she takes patience and has to push it through the liminal barrier to get in towards the fire to kind of cauterize it. Like she feels the piercing of patience through the liminal itself. And once it is hot and ready, She I'm sorry, I had to. My brain, I couldn't put.
Yeah.
Okay, when patience is hot and ready. Yep.
Once it's ready, she kind of like waves it off a little bit, so it's not skin singeing hot, but just enough. Takes off her shawl again, stuffs it in your face direction.
Before you get to that point and you go to cool off Patience just a little, you see that Xainan has been watching every deft movement of someone who didn't even know how to manage this ability. And not only make it easy to make the liminal around the fire, but to interact with it, to change it, to use it, not dangerously, but deftly. Every little thing that you learn, Lumièra, he watches and he remembers. And here you are now. Who knows what you'll learn next? And when you finally give him that scarf, he's already got his shoved in his own mouth.
The hot metal touches your leg. And we cut to the base of the radio tower. Xainan, still limping slightly, but able to put a bit more weight on that wounded thigh. The rest of you battered, but hope blooming within your eyes as you observe your destination. You see a old rusted ladder, almost like a fire escape ladder, that travels all the way down and is only a couple of feet up off of the ground. Would take just a small little hop to get up onto. And this single ladder travels all the way up to the first landing. And you all can also see from the base that other systems of ladders travel up to the second landing and then all the way up to the final and third landing at the top of the radio tower. There's something else here at the base of the tower. You see a metal sign welded into one of the legs, and written in Kazakhstan standard script are the words, Signal Tower number 19, Hofu Province. And Xainan, you would know that Hofu Prefecture. And Xainan, you would know that the prefecture of Hofu is kind of far away from Hane Bay Prefecture.
Hofu?
Is that what that
How in...
says?
Yeah, how in fate's name did we get all the way here? This is nowhere near the bay.
There's something else, Xainan, carved kind of at the bottom of this sign within the bronze plating, 2 scrappy words that read, still here. This carving is so old that the indentations have been rusted over.
His thumb runs over it, and he can almost hear his own messages being sent to nothing, to a signal tower that's far away from here. But that feeling, he's almost never identified with anything more in his entire life than 2 simple words carved into this tower. Someone was here.
Maybe they're still here.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a little bit ahead of us, right? This ladder, the first one.
Yes, you have to jump a little to get to it.
I have a grappling hook attached to my climbing gear.
Is that the noise of the grappling hook?
Right, that would sound like,
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. You whoop the grappling hook up to the lowest rung, and when you pull on it, like a fire escape ladder, it comes loose and comes all the way down, back to the bottom of the ground, so any one of you can easily step onto this ladder and scale it. Okay, then. I'll go first.
absolutely not.
Why not? I'm fine. I can do it.
Your arm? Don't you need it to climb?
Yes. Fine, okay.
Your turn.
Someone else.
I'll go. And Lumièra will kind of gently push Ying He back and will start to climb.
Okay. One by one, each of you is able to take your positions underneath Lumièra and begin to scale this 70-foot tall ladder. And the rungs are rusted over. They feel creaky, they feel old, but miraculously none of them break and none of them feel loose underneath each of your weight. There's a kind of creaking, swaying sensation as wind and dust blows in as you ascend higher and higher and higher up into the air. And as you do, you notice other structures welded onto the support legs of this radio tower. You see solar panels. Xainan, you would recognize these as standard issue installments. There once were solar panels everywhere, all over the planet, so this is very standard, bolted to these struts. And you also see satellite dishes as you start to ascend and reach that first landing. These huge, big, curved, crescent-shaped devices with a little antenna poking out from the middle of them. There's no way of telling at all if any of these panels or dishes are still functional, but you do see a ton of cables and wires running up, all the way up to the top of the tower. And eventually, the four of you are able to land on this outside, essentially walkway that encircles this first platform, but there is a door that leads in to a room built within this platform, a room that is enclosed off with shaded windows and strong, sturdy-looking wooden walls. Lumièra, as the first to land on this platform, you see the door right in front of your face. It seems to be a sliding door of sorts with a little depression where you can hook your fingers into.
There's a door up here. She calls out down over the ladder. I'll check it. And
okay.
Lumièra turns towards the door, settling herself. She digs into the side of her boot and pulls out her boot knife and holds it at the ready in front of her just in case, as she cautiously tries to open the door. She's a medic.
It opens with no resistance whatsoever. It just rolls wide open. It wasn't locked. There was nothing placed against it from within. Nothing bolted whatsoever. It just rolls open on slightly squeaky wheels. And it's open. And at this point, the rest of your strike team arrives. They surface up from the ladder, and now all four of you are able to see inside this initial landing into a archive room of sorts. You see, encircling the central pillar that kind of pokes up through the middle of this room are shelves upon shelves upon shelves of scrolls and books. And one of the shelves even seems dedicated completely to actual music records, vinyls, still within their sleeves. And that's not it. There's furniture in here and decor, humble furniture. You see an armchair with a ripped cushion, and underneath it a hand-woven straw rug, a painted lamp on a nearby table, hand-painted with what appears to be a mother hawk soaring through an open and blue sky with two little baby hawks next to it. And then on a low coffee table in front of this armchair, you see an ashtray littered with the remains of many hand-rolled cigarettes, ash almost overflowing through it. You see upon the table old water rings, you see melted wax, and you see a mug, rather large and gaudy looking. There's something written on the side of it, but you have to get a bit closer to see exactly what it is. This is the sight that greets you, and not a single person inside. In fact, there's a fine layer of dust over everything, and you don't see any footprints going through the dust at all.
Thank fate, something to read.
Wow. And Ying He immediately goes in, stirring up the dust, their eyes bright. They look excited again. They look upbeat again, just like they were back on the Kestrel, even back when the Kestrel had crash landed. And they go straight for the records. The vinyl ones.
Of course they do.
Xainan stands there feeling like someone just walked over his grave, looking around this room, looking for the shape of a person. And he sees little touches, and I think the first one that calls to him is that lamp with the hawks. He just walks over to it, picturing the person who painted it, maybe the person who read by it, who loved by it, who lived by it. Feels so like
Xainan.
home.
Xainan, you are a farm boy. You are a naturalist in many ways. Do you think you would recognize the species of hawk on this lamp?
Probably. He loves raptors of all kinds.
Yes, then you would recognize it as a very well done reproduction, quite scientifically accurate, of a northern bantam hawk and their 2 chicks, old enough to fly.
You can almost see them in the sky when the very fleeting hours of day. He hadn't thought about the northern bantam hawk, the very gentle feathers of juvenile ones, since before the dust.
Seir, where are you drawn to inside this record room?
I feel like Seir's just taking this whole place in. I think he feels like where we were in the middle of the journey with Nova and feeling the webs of threads just like apparating around him, how he had to walk gingerly through it. And I think that's what he's looking for here. With the light, with the etching, as old as it was, I think they really hoped that someone would be here. Even if it was like a body or anything. I think he just wanted to see another person here to find the truth, the ending of it all. Maybe he's still stuck in that moment in the cave, witnessing the end of that skipper. And I think Seir just kind of like walks after Xainan. He like spent a moment watching Xainan take in this room to see if the one he looks to always had an inkling, an idea of what this all would mean. A direction forward. I think that's what Seir's looking for. He's just looking, okay, if they weren't here and this place is caked in dust, where did they go? Where are the remnants of truths, other than the ones that his companions have jumped to? Seir's kind of like, with a lens of nostalgia and sentimentality, is just kind of like sifting through what remains.
Seir, you find so many remnants of someone who lives here, but the dust that has settled in this room is quite thick. As you approach where Xainan is, observing this lamp, which is by the coffee table, you are able to see more personal effects upon this table in greater clarity. You see that rather gaudy-looking mug is quite large, slightly misshapen, definitely handmade. Someone maybe made in a pottery class or in their own kiln or something like that. And there are printed letters across the front of this mug that read, Fuyumi's finest operator. And there's a big crack that runs through the front, but it's been patched over.
This is not so bad. Right?
And you also see something else on the table next to the ashtray. A flare gun, bright orange. There seems to be something left inside the kind of revolver holster of it. A single charge remaining within it. Also covered in dust.
Brilliant. I'm not trained in guns as weaponry. Seir takes a look, sees that it's loaded, leans over towards Xainan. Zai. And hands it the safe way. Hands the little flare gun the safe way over to Xainan.
Xainan takes it with an open palm and
Still got one charge.
looks it over. You know, this whole place used to be quite something.
Did you ever hear the radio? Uyumi's finest operator. He's still holding the mug in the other hand.
We used all these as communication. It's how we bound ourselves to each other.
Seir, as you're holding the mug up to show to Xainan, you notice something on the bottom of the mug. Some sort of writing that had been inscribed into the actual clay before it had set. Do you tilt it up to read it?
Oh yeah. If that catch Sayer's fascinated by the artistic rendition of this thing. It is a thing he doesn't really talk a lot about, but he does enjoy seeing people make things and what comes out of it. So I think he is curious. I think he thinks it's a pattern of something, so he like tilts it up to see what that pattern is in the light.
Yes, it is 2 words. Love, 4.
Like the
Lumièra.
number 4, just to confirm?
Yes, the number 4, yes.
Thank you.
Lumièra, where did you gravitate toward?
There are walls and walls of scrolls. Her agent instinct, if she was thinking in that mindset currently, would have stopped by the ashtray to see how recent the ashes smelled, if not at all. But she can't help herself, and her feet take her faster towards the scrolls than I think she can even possibly realize.
Yes, you go straight toward the shelves, which reminds you so much of the stacks. And within moments, you are able to tell that these aren't fiction novels or even non-fiction novels. They are official records. You see big scrolls rolled up of weather logs. You're able to sift through transcriptions of incoming and outgoing transmissions from the radio tower, and it's all very meticulously organized. There's kind of like an organizer's brain that's getting itched really well right now. Whoever took care of this space was like super on top of the archiving of everything. It's like dated and labeled. Everything is perfect. Maintenance logs for the tower itself, etc. And if you pull them out and start like looking at them at random or whichever ones catch your eye, you'll notice that all of the dates predate the beginning of the apocalypse here in Keseki. They're all from over 15 years ago. You also notice in a corner of the stacks a small pile of cracked and defunct-looking hollow pads, almost like they were smashed onto the ground at one point, and a fine layer of dust have covered them.
Lumièra puts the scrolls down as she was digging through them. These look like maintenance, and she stops once her eyes land on the cracked hollow pads. And she walks over to one using her sleeve to kind of dust it off a bit, turning it over to try to assess the damage.
The damage from all of these pads seem to all have happened around the same time, and they look like drop damage. Like they were almost like they were dropped onto the ground with great force and then like piled up in a corner. And if the damage didn't break them, the lack of a battery charge for well over 15 years definitely did. You can't get any of them to boot up or work.
Oh, can I?
If you're
God.
toggling the power button, then no, you can't. But would you like to try something?
Did you forget who I was? You
Go
did.
on.
Let me remind you really quick. So Lumièra did this fun little thing back in Inferno where she was able to go back a bit to see the ghostly vestiges of what happened here. I think that'd be useful, no?
Yeah, okay, you're trying to tap into the memory of this place and see echoes of it, perhaps?
See.
Okay. You can already tell with your agent's perceptive eye that this layer of dust, everything here, was at least 15 years old. So you'll be tapping into events that have happened much earlier than you've ever tried to tap in before. So with that in mind, it's going to be a wit check from you, utilizing your power. You don't have situational advantage or assistance from another character. That is 2d20.
Can I use archaeology in relation
instead?
to this as well?
Oh,
Or can I?
Okay.
I don't know if I can add it to it or not to increase my chances or no. You can say
You
no
know
if
what?
it's necessary. If not,
you could say that you're using your archaeology feature, and we could flavor it as you're tapping into your time magic. to kind of use
Yeah.
it. Okay.
Hell yeah.
So when you investigate the history of a place, make a wit check. For each success, you can ask the GM one and receive an honest answer. So that's going to be 2d20, like we established.
Gotcha. Oh, that jumped. Oh. How lovely of that. That's absolutely 0. I think that makes sense.
You get 0 successes. Okay.
0 successes.
Okay, how does it feel as you're trying to pull on your chronergy in this moment, but for some reason you can't, or it slips past your fingers?
Lumièra's exhausted. She's utterly exhausted. She quite literally just jumped back here from 15 years prior. So I think she tries to tap into it, but it's like that. It's like a rock in those gears. It keeps trying to go, but it hits that rut and pops back to where it was initially. And y'all can see her focusing so hard on this tablet. She's like turning it over in her hands. She's fidgeting with it, like her left hand, her gold hand is like, you can see that it's in the motions of what you know her using her chronergy is, but it's just spitting out.
Yeah, you can feel the exhaustion pulling at you as you're trying to call in your chronergy. It's only been a day. You've barely rested. So here's what I'm going to give you. Instead of you getting to ask up to 2 questions based on the 2 dice you rolled, I'm just going to give you something. As you're holding one of these broken hollow pads up to your face, focusing, you see it flicker not to life, but the memory of a life it once held. So this thing isn't lighting up again, it's showing you what it once held when it did light up. And you see flashes of email transmissions, of written recordings of messages between specifically this tower, Signal Tower number 19, and an entity called the Galactic Council. And you see many responses from the Galactic Council that seem very dismissive of environmental and weather reports that this tower was sending them. Just dismissing report after report after report, saying that it is not of concern, it is not of concern, it is not of concern. For years and years and years. And then slowly the messages start to change. And the last one you see that kind of is burned on to the holopad before it fades is a mandatory evacuation notice from the Galactic Council issued to Signal Tower 19. And then it fades. And as you're looking at now the black screen of this holopad, you see a reflection of something that has been nailed onto one of the shelves. On the outside of one of the shelves, it seems like a framed, almost like a certificate at first, but you're able to see through your reflection, and if you turn around, you notice that it is that exact same mandatory evacuation notice printed out, framed, hung against the shelf, like a badge of pride.
Lumièra, kind of at that moment, her eyes dart up and see the sign, and she kind of, not even kind of, she kind of throws the tablet onto the table in frustration. And she kind of sharply turns to Xainan, huffing a bit too much, so much that it triggers more coughs from her. Who is the Galactic Council? And why the fuck don't they listen?
They're the reason that everything's gone to shit. They never listen to us.
These tablets hold years worth of correspondence warning them of this. And each time they paid this shit dust. And Lumièra slaps the tablets, all of them flipping off of the table and clattering onto the ground loudly. She starts pacing. All of this time, so many lives lost, and for what?
I knew they didn't care. But to know that they didn't listen.
Why not? Well, why not? Why wouldn't they care?
And Ying He says from the vinyl section, not visible, but their voice floats over, they never do. A lot of people with a lot of power, they just choose not to use it to help other people. Happens all the time.
It's fucking bullshit! And Lumièra kicks the chair, like she was standing in front of a chair, and kicks it. It clatters to the ground. When you have something as powerful as the power to change things, you do that for good. For everyone, for the community, for the people that you fucking love. You don't leave them there to die. And you damn sure don't ignore the warnings for years.
You say that like they loved us.
Why wouldn't
They're
they?
just numbers.
The numbers for what?
Money,
You both.
gold.
You
So
both
you
came
mean to
from the
tell me that-
syndicate where everything was there. We had food, shelter, water, each other. Out here, it ain't never been like that.
I'm furious. But what communities are. My home, we loved each other. And Lumièra stops again, almost frozen like a deer stuck in headlights. This is fucking bullshit. And she walks over to the scrolls, going back to stare.
You did a very interesting thing there, Lumièra, because around the same moment as you were venting your frustrations about this, Seir also gritted his teeth in annoyance. He cannot comprehend a system like this. Yes, we've interceded with the Wild Sea. We've interceded with the bureaucracy of the City of Heaven. We've dealt with the many factions within Inferno, but we haven't quite dealt with this sort of structure, this sort of like larger than life power, and these planets all sustaining themselves, and the idea of this power not caring. I mean, that's not what his home was like, and I think there's a moment for the first time Seir, they think about home, about the Syndicate. Everyone had shelter, food, their needs. We had community. I mean, people chose what professions they went into, and folks could move and shift between them. We weren't, the idea of being comprehended as numbers feels strange to them. And I think they sit in that for a moment, for the first time in a long while, not being able to be distracted by something else, actually reckon with that little hole in their chests that they refuse to look at, of what they turned away from. Then they heard you speak, and they turned to you, expecting to hear the exact same point within his own heart come out of your lips, but you said, "My home." Not our home. And Seir tilts his head towards you. There's a different way your voice moved when you said that. And he chews on that for a moment. You've never really spoken about where you came from, Lumièra. And I think Seir's looking at you, deer in headlights, but for a different reason.
But it at least seems like the person here cared. I know this is kind of a selfish request, but... And Ying He finally rises from the vinyl record section, and you see that they're holding a stack of vinyl records close to their chest as they stand. There isn't a record player here, but there has to be, because why else would this person have collected all of these records? And these were pulled out slightly, so I think that means that these were their favorites, and I kind of want to listen to them. And they're organized by genre, but there are all kinds of genres I don't recognize, not even from Inferno. Do you know what a wide is? What does that mean? And Xainan, you would know. Wide music is widely beloved music that is very popular, that everyone listens to.
It's what we all listen to. At least.
Oh.
It's what we
well,
hear
none
over...
of their favorites were those.
And there is lightness as Xainan sees Seir lock onto Lumièra. Again, Xainan feels pulled to Ying He. And he goes to her and looks at the records. Has his hands on his hips. There's gotta be one around here somewhere.
As you're looking around, you also see all of the records. Ying He still feels and acts a little off and distant from you. But there's also a desperate curiosity and a desire to know about the music and the records of this place. The music of Inferno in particular had really touched Ying He. So they kind of show you the stack of 5 or 6 records, and they're kind of asking you begrudgingly, do you know any of these? Or whatever.
I'll be honest, I didn't listen much to anything recorded unless it was playing somewhere. And then I didn't catch the name.
Oh, that's too bad. They look down and they're shuffling through the records and they kind of pull one out. And you notice that it is an album called 11th Prefecture by a band called Aftershave. And you would know, of course, that Kaseki only has 10 prefectures. This one looks pretty cool.
11th Prefecture? Where'd they get the 11th one? There's only 10.
It's called an artistic choice, Xainan.
You were hanging out with Yara too much.
Well, I already looked and there doesn't seem to be a record player here. Maybe it's on the next platform up?
Yeah. We can go find that.
Okay. These are the things I'm gonna take from here, but
Here, give me some. I'll help.
Okay, fine. And they just hand you the records and let you hold them as they start to stride toward the door. And Lumièra and Seir, as the two of you start to pick yourselves up as well, both of you notice at the same time something else on this coffee table as Nova starts to head toward the egress. It is a carving into the wood itself. One carving just has the word hi. And then written beneath it in a completely different handwriting, in marker, goodbye. And we're going to go to break there. Thank you all so much for tuning in so far to the return of the Chaos Protocol after our winter hiatus. We are gonna be rolling some cool ads during the break. In the meantime, please get some water, because I don't know if this was the case for you all, but when everyone was talking about how dehydrated they were in character, I found myself sipping so much from my water. So please, please hydrate yourselves. Let this arc be a reminder to stay hydrated. Grab a snack if you need, use the bathroom, take a bio break, stretch your legs. I'm gonna be stretching my arms out a little bit, and we'll be back in just about 10 minutes. We love you all so much. See you soon. Spisho, Pisho. Hello, Transplay Nerds. You know what time it is. Sponsor Connie time. For Arc 4, we're collaborating with the Working Families Party, who are building a multiracial coalition of working class people to make our communities a better place to live for everyone. You might be thinking, why does a political party care about a queer tabletop show? As it turns out, the Working Families Party believes in the power of fandom to effect positive political change in the real world. So do we. As a Transplay Nerd, you're no stranger to just how political our show can be and how our stories are never just fiction. In fact, let's take an action together right now by signing a petition by the Working Families Party to break up big media companies. This cause means a lot to us personally, as indie actual play performers fighting censorship, telling authentic stories, and resisting authoritarianism. Go to bit.ly/WFPtrans and add your name to the list. By signing this petition, you will join the Working Families Party's mailing list and receive opportunities to help them organize, educate, and fundraise. So let's build a better future together. Howdy, Transplay Nerds. It is, once again, Sponsor Connie time. Arc 4 is proudly sponsored by Hero Forge, a website where you can design and print your very own custom miniatures. But you already knew that, didn't you? Because the spectacular Hero Forge has sponsored us every single arc so far. We've stuck together through all sorts of exciting updates, like Hero Forge Pro, statuettes, color-printed plastic, premium plastic, but now, it's time. It's time for one of the most exciting Hero Forge updates ever. Custom dice. Hero Forge is now offering 3D printed custom dice, where you can put literally anything into the clear material of the die. Each die is printed in the same layers as the item or character bust inside of it, resulting in a solid, perfectly weighted chunk of math rock. You decide the size, color, and shape of your die, the size and color of the numbers on top, and, of course, what the die contains.
Put a frog in it.
Don't die lay.
Visit bit.ly/transforge to design your very own custom miniature or custom dice today.